Welcome back to Every Tom, Prick and Harry.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Rebecca.
We read quite a disturbing article a couple
And by
of weeks
read,
ago.
we mean watched. Don't lie.
Okay, well, yes, we did see quite a disturbing video that explained an article that was about research on Gen Z and the fact that we are cognitively behind and we are the first generation in modern history to underperform the generation that came before us or to underperform our parents.
Let's get into it.
Alright, let's get into it. So yes, we're going to be discussing Gen Z and specifically this piece of research that says that we are cognitively behind. Okay, so we love our cell phones in Gen Z, so we are reading off of our cell phones.
As we talk about our reliance on devices, we don't have paper key cards. We have our notes app.
Okay, so experts, including a neuroscientist called Dr. Jared Cooney-Horvath, attribute this decline to excessive digital screen time and a reliance on technology for learning, which may hinder deep focus and critical thinking.
Some research points to support this argument include
a cognitive drop. Research indicates a decline in attention, memory, reading, and problem-solving skills, with this noticeable drop starting around 2010, which coincides with increased digital saturation. The next point. Impact of technology. Heavy use of tablets, laptops, and smartphones in school systems is blamed for interrupting the brain's ability to develop deep, focused, and interpersonal learning, replacing it with passive, shallow consumption.
We can confidently say that we experienced this. Our primary school was very, very traditional in terms of learning.
It was. There was no technology in sight. All the way till grade 7. We had no computers,
and also,
no cell
even when you
phones.
logged your homework, you weren't allowed to log it online in any way or form. Like a lot of people just like take a photo of the board or like put it down in a notes app.
We
literally had to have a homework diary, and it had to be signed every single day.
Yeah, you had your homework diary, and if it wasn't signed, then
Detention.
Yeah, our primary school was very traditional in terms of learning styles and learning techniques.
But then high school wasn't.
Yeah, we went from paper and pen everything, and then we moved high schools, and the high school we moved to was very tech savvy.
Yeah.
Well, I moved in high school, and you moved to the same school where you were still in primary school, but that was also
No,
quite
I was in grade 7.
It's still primary school.
Grade 7 is high school.
No, it's not. Grade 8 is high school.
It's not. My bad.
Becky.
Sorry.
It's the cell phones.
Girl.
So the school we moved to was very tech savvy.
It was actually a requirement to have a laptop or an iPad that you could work on.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
I was so behind. We went from pen and paper to laptops and iPads.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a requirement. And then we had computer lessons, and I was just, those computer lessons stressed me out.
When you had to type, and it was like a test. How fast can you type?
I
was like,
yeah, no,
just slow down.
I was so behind, and I was always asking everyone around me all the time in computer lessons. I was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? How do you do that?
I know.
And then...
You know that sound? This is Gen Z showing. But in those computer lessons, I felt like that someone, Savannah, slow down.
Yes. Slow down. No, I was really behind, but I caught on quickly. I think we both caught on quickly, and we just became quite tech savvy quite quickly, which I think...
It was really, honestly, a blessing in disguise because then COVID hit.
Yeah, and when COVID hit, everything moved online, and I think, like, because we were quite tech savvy, that transition was really, really smooth. And I think, online school was really quite simple, which I think was really a blessing in disguise, and really, it was quite a privilege to be able to do that.
Also, what was quite weird timing was the fact that at our high school, we had to prep for what was called a Digi-Day, which was essentially... everything online. You had to do activities where you stay home and you do school from home, and then we had a Digi-Day planned, and then it was literally like Digi-Day this day, and then 3 days later it was online school. So that to me is always suspicious stuff.
I could add that to our
conspiracy theories. Yes, we can get back the tinfoil hats.
But yes, we
can
did
try
have
out different styles.
We did have Digi Days where we had online school practice, and then we actually went online, which was crazy. But anyways, it was really a blessing in disguise
No,
to
it
have
was.
that kind of access to technology and that very smooth transition to online school.
So basically,
Really lucky.
Gen Z's reliance on technology is not entirely our fault.
No, it's not our fault. We did have to go to school in a pandemic. So yeah, we are cognitively behind, but I think we can cut Gen Z a little bit of slack.
Yeah, I feel like we have experienced quite a lot.
Yes, no, the years
But
of
so have
our...
other generations.
You know, every generation has their own experiences.
Yeah.
But we have seen a lot in the last few years, and the years of our fundamental cognitive development were spent in isolation, if you think about it, really. The pandemic wasn't kind to anyone, but it certainly wasn't kind to young people or adolescents who really rely on that real world interaction for development.
Yeah, 100%.
We were in isolation, which was...
Exactly. Like, no wonder we are so dependent on social media and our phones.
No, we use them for everything. All of our connections are all, in that time period, we're all digital.
Yep.
So no wonder we are a little bit strange now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are studies that connect that kind of dependence on digital connections to just all the loneliness. There's a lot of loneliness and a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As we said, Gen Z has seen quite a lot in the last few years.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next point.
Yes.
We are quite painful though, I know. This point here says that Gen Z struggles with overconfidence. It says that some reports suggest that while cognitive scores have dropped, Gen Z may exhibit high self-confidence regarding their skills.
I feel like that is very true. That's accurate.
I think so too, and I think maybe we can blame instant gratification.
100%.
I think you do see that a lot with Gen Z. Like Gen Z does like to tell everyone that they have these certain skills before they've even proven
that they have those skills. But honestly, AI isn't really helping our case if we think about it.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not the biggest fan of AI, truth be told. I don't rely on it. If I have to use it, I am sure to say please and thank you to the robots for when they take over the world one day.
She's very polite. I'm also very polite. I've had to use AI more now than I have before. I was kind of anti it as well, especially when I was in uni. I was kind of like...
Because like, just do your assignments yourself,
made me feel very uncomfortable. AI, and then now I have to use it more than before. But I think it is a tool at the end of the day. You just have to
use it
remember
correctly.
that humans are still driving.
Exactly.
Like humans are in control of this tool. And
also, I feel like with AI, you can definitely use it as a tool, as we say, but you need to be smarter than the robot, which we are because it isn't taking over just yet. But in order to use it as a tool, you need to be smarter than it.
Yeah, so just stay smarter than the robot.
And say please and thank you.
Thank you. Okay, but going back to the script.
My bad. It's ADHD.
We were saying that AI isn't helping our case, and I think that it also is contributing to a lack of agency. So when I read this, watched the video about this decline in our cognitive development as Gen Z, I had a thought and I had a theory about it being linked to agency. And I think that a reliance on technology is probably what's reduced our agency as a generation. And AI probably doesn't help because there's so much access to everything. Like it's just at a touch of a button, you have access to absolutely everything. And that increased access to everything actually decreases the agency that we would have to actually work towards getting that access to whatever it is, or getting information access.
That's valid.
So maybe the less agency we have means that we achieve less, maybe. Like that's the reason why we succeed less. We have too much access, and
I think that's a very real possibility.
That was my thought process.
Yeah.
Having too much access actually limits your agency to achieve something.
I think that's true.
And that's why there's just kind of like a plateau or like a decline in...
Yeah.
Just a theory.
Just a theory.
Just a thought. Shame. Well, Gen Z, we are out here trying our best. We are locking in.
Yeah,
Well-
it certainly is tough out there, but tough times never last. Tough people do.
Exactly. That's the mindset you get when you're raised by Gen X.
I think so. I think we should potentially do a podcast on generations
I think so. We could do one on generations that isn't as doom and gloom as
Maybe
this
we
one,
can
because I don't know if we really are that bad.
We can do Gen Alpha, because like majority of Gen Z is raised by Gen X.
No, yeah.
Majority
Boomers and Gen X.
Boomers and Gen X. But I feel like maybe we can do one on millennials and Gen Alpha, because Gen Alpha parents are millennials.
Yeah, millennials are raising Gen Alpha.
I'm scared of Gen Alpha.
I'm so scared of Gen Alpha. But that's a podcast for another day.
I think so.
But I think we could definitely talk a little bit more positively about Gen Z in another podcast potentially. But if we think about it, we are living in a digital world. We're living in a digital world. We have to learn how to navigate that.
I'm doing a journalism course at the moment, which is all about digital journalism and how it actually helps in comparison to traditional and print media versus the digital age, which I think is quite interesting, because it's saying how smartphones, it's both a pro and a con, but it's saying how smartphones actually help us, because we can now live stream something that's actually happening, but then it's multiple opinions and then there's misinformation. So there's definitely pros and cons to the digital age.
Yeah, exactly. What we might have lost cognitively in the classroom, we might have gained somewhere else in terms of keeping up with the digital age and using the resources we have available to us to actually do something. I don't know. Yeah. But we can do that. We'll do another podcast where we discuss generations, and maybe we'll be a bit kinder to Gen Z.
But do drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments, because we would like to see what everyone has to say.
Yes, we'd love to see what people have to say.
Be nice.
Yes. We'll reiterate that in our motto. Okay, well, I think that's that.
I think so.
And remember,
don't be a prick.